This is extremely important, facing challenges. Now, I'm going to switch the other side. Problems with interviewers. I won't say all the problems are because of the people who are attending the interview. There are ample of problems which are created by interviewers also. When a person is saying that I am not getting the right guy, you can always ask a question. You have a country with so many colleges, so many engineers. Are you not getting the right guy? Maybe the time is a factor, but at the same time, there may be something else that is going on wrongly with the people who are interviewing also. Okay? Someone wanted the blog information. This is the blog information. This is one blog. The other blog is QA Monitor. Two blogs which are available for good information, right? And problems with interviewers. Let us talk about this. This is very, very important. One of the foremost problems, right? Wrong questions. When I say wrong questions, the interviewer tries to show off his or her talent. This is one of the topmost issue. Hey, he's a great interviewer, sir. He will make people to cry in the interview. By doing that, what do you achieve? You may be rejecting people. I rejected 100 people. But what is your management expecting? We want some 5 to 10 people on board within the next month. But what is that you are achieving? The interviewer, for example, I will tell you what is the core reason. The interviewer may talk about, oh, what do you do in metrics? Testing metrics. Explain about metrics. When I say wrong questions to the wrong role. Most of the times, the root cause of this, the person who asks question, right? They are not clear on the role. If you ask them, you have to recruit for your project. The way they interview is different. You have to recruit for other projects. The way they interview is different. Reason is, if it is their project, they know what to do. If it is generic recruitment, they don't know. This is where, in generic recruitments, they don't know what is the expectation. So interviewer asking wrong questions. And another problem is, maybe by yesterday, he or she might have faced a problem. For example, correlation is not working in LoadRunner on their application. Suddenly, they will be interviewing a guy in LoadRunner. This guy will start asking, given the situation, say I have infragistics control on the UI, third-party UI control. I am doing a LoadRunner scripting. It is not correlating. What will you do? Because this is the standard problem. What they will do is, today they face a problem or yesterday they have faced a problem. It's a brand new problem and it is happening only for you in your computer, right? And you are trying to get an answer from the guy that you are interviewing today. How will you expect that guy to answer? This is one of the most, I would say, irritating issues with the interviewers. Trying to get a solution of what you face in your project. A new guy cannot solve it. So, current problems, solution to recent problems in your environment, right? Solutions, or say, asking for solutions on your problem to a new guy, the mistake is on the interviewer's part. This is one of the topmost reasons. Second thing, right? Second problem, what we always see is someone is asking, did you face the same thing? Yes, I used to face during my early days. I graduated in 1992. Today I'm having about 19 years experience. During my early days, yes, I faced, but you have a lot of ways to answer it. If you have a good communication capacity to circumvent all those things, you can. But at least you can give a conceptual solution to them. The second problem is asking questions out of scope. Okay. For example, the job requires certain things. Let us take Selenium as an example. Project with Selenium automation. Imagine the project requires basic recording, assertion, then verifications, some file handling, and data driven tests, and some experts, right? You know, this occupies 80 to 90% of the work. What exactly you need to do is, if you are interviewing a new candidate, what is required 90% of the time for your project, that is more important. But unwantedly, some people will interview, tell me about Ant and Selenium. You know, this ANT framework and Selenium is going to be used only 5% in your project. Are you testing the guy to know 5% of what you want to do, or are you want to interview the person? Are you ready to interview a person on 80 to 90% of the work, right? So you want to get the work done, that too majority of the work done, not the minority of the work done. So many times people miss this. What is more important, that area needs to be explored, and what is least important, that area people can learn. And it is your, I'll come to that, mentorship within the company after recruitment, after interview, right? This is another area. This is another mistake that people do. Asking something, and again, if you take QTP, I have seen many situations that people don't use descriptive programming in that situation. But just for the sake of it, explain descriptive programming. Right from day one, I will not give you any UI. You need to do descriptive programming. Can you do? If the guy says yes, what are you going to achieve? If the guy says no, what are you going to achieve? So you are asking the wrong questions with the wrong expectations. You are asking about 5% of the work which is going to be done, very, very sparse. But your aim is to get right guys who can do 80 to 90% of the work in your project. So asking questions out of scope are minimal. I would say not completely out of scope, and minimal. People try to get a sadistic satisfaction. Oh, I asked great questions. Interview has got two things. Number one, company wants people, and if you have a pleasure of rejecting the people, company may not get the right people, project may slip. Who is the loser? Company, not the interviewer. So management will start asking questions to the HR. HR will pinpoint at people who are rejecting people. Then it will go for a postmortem. Hey, what goes wrong with our interview process? So that is another mistake people do. And another standard mistake that people do in terms of stereotyped questions. Interviewers always have this habit. Many interviewers. Standard questions, right? What is error guessing? Tell me, right? I have seen many people preparing a question bank for certain companies. Hey, these are all the questions from these companies, standard answers. If the answer can be obtained from the web and you can answer, why should we have to go for engineering degree or MCA degrees or MBA degrees? If the answer is just a handful and stereotyped questions, it doesn't solve the purpose. So standard questions, first 10 questions I ask, if people are ready, first round of interview, okay, get. People always argue, no, we are making sure that these people know the minimal conceptual level. All these things are fine, but there are ways to ask those questions also. So stereotyped questions, more theory. If it is more theoretical, it does not solve. There are other ways. You can even ask the same questions but have different problems. Give a problem and then do. Towards the end, I will talk about some of the new ways that are being followed in the industry nowadays. Okay. This is another problem with stereotype questions in the interviewer, and another set of problem, right? Tagging people. When I say tagging people, some people have the tendency, okay, if they come from this background, they are good. This is a common tendency. It may be because people try to define the background in terms of colleges, in terms of educational qualifications, in terms of geographies or states or towns, right? The tagging always happens when someone has a local liking or a prejudice over the other areas. So tagging people is also there. We have seen many customers, and it's not just customers, I would say we survey people, we take a lot of surveys, feedback. This is a common pattern we observe. We don't take this kind of people. We don't take people from these colleges. Okay. Yes, to some extent they might have got bad experience. The core reason is past bad experiences. The past bad experiences because of that college or a degree or a geography or a training division or something might have forced some people in the top management to think always wrong about that place. Does that mean every time that region or a college is making mistake? No. There's a problem. This is a mindset problem, right? When such a tagging happens, you are restricting the management. The management itself restricts the mindset. Somewhere they need to break that out. Otherwise, you can have people only from certain region, from certain colleges with certain qualification. You may not have a diverse crowd. When you do not have a diverse crowd, you may not get many good opinions. You may not scale. You may not get great ideas. You can still do the service, still get the money. But unless you have people from different states, different colleges, different backgrounds, very difficult to scale up as a company. So it's not just the project problem, not just the people problem. It is a company-wide issues. A few people are asking, can you explain error guessing? No, this is not a webinar where we are talking about answers, right? The answers, you need to find it out. Here we are throwing light in terms of what goes wrong in interviews, in terms of interviewer and interviewers. So the problems are having their repercussions on both sides. And another major problem with interviewers is there is something called replacement recruitment, right? Replacement recruitment meaning a few people leave the company, those positions must be filled. Okay, So what do? You need to interview. So when you interview, you take the skill set of those people who left the company, trying to match. But one thing that people miss, right, is the people who left the company have got 3 years experience in your company. They learned so many things over the last 3 years, and you are trying to fit a right match, exact match of those guys within 1 month, right? Again, we cannot say we will not get such people, but getting an exact match of a person who left recently, this has, I would say, 10 to 20% or say 30% probability, but the cost will go high. So the problem is, you try to get an exact match who generated the knowledge or derived the knowledge over a period of time. So during this replacement recruitment, what exactly this guy did, you try to interview the new guy whether he has done the same thing or not. Often it backfires. You will never find a match after 4 weeks of weekend interviews. You will say, hey, I interviewed 280 people. I am not getting an exact match for this guy, right? Again, another core reason is the leadership team in projects do not want, I would say the teams, not just one team, do not want to mentor more and more. I just want to get exact match of ABC so that they can jumpstart from day one. You can still get, but you need to interview so many people, you need to waste so much of time. Instead, if you are able to get that 80 to 90% of the work done, remaining 10% you allow them to learn within your company, that is where you can get people quickly in a better way with a lesser cost, right? Then there is a question, are these things really happening? Yes, these things really happen. Look at the biggies, right? Look at the top 20 companies. They are recruiting 40,000 people, 50,000 people, 60,000 people, right? Out of which around 30,000 or 40,000 are freshers. But remaining 20,000 people they recruit laterally. For example, fresher recruitment is around, say any top companies now do around 20,000 per year, and lateral around 10,000 a year. I am talking about a very, very minimal. Some companies do 40,000 freshers and 20,000 lateral. When you are talking about 10,000 people lateral a year, and these recruitments do happen across 10 months, not 12 months. We talk about 1,000 people a year, sorry, a month. That means out of 20 working days, every day 50 new people to join. If I need to get 50 people, I need to give at least 60 offers. If I need to give 60 offers, I need to, even if you take interview hit 1:10, 600 interviews. Look at the pain that they are taking, right? The pain they take to interview, and 600 interviews they need to really do, then they need to make around 1,200 appointments. Some people may come, some people may not come, right? When I say 600 interviews, these are the final level. The pain the HR department takes is huge, really, really huge. We cannot blame them. But the thing is, how do these companies scale? This is exactly, they look at what exactly they want, right? You don't try to solve today's problem of your problem with a new guy. They eliminate all these issues that we talked about. That is why they are scaling. A company with 200 people says, I am not getting the right people. The reason is they are not ready to mentor people. They want just in time. Yes, to say it is very, very clear. You might have heard this word, JIT. just in time. Oh, just in time is fine, but you need to pay the effort. You need to pay the cost. It's not that easy. To say it is easy, but it's not very easy for the HR department and project managers to continuously interview and get the people. And another thing is, the scale up happens only when you come out of this mindset. I want the exact match. I want everything to be answered. Yes, certain companies, in fact, one question one of the persons has said, some of the MNCs like Google, okay, I don't want to name any companies very specifically. Yes, some companies want very, very specific skills. Now I ask the question, look at how many people they recruit a year. Do they recruit 10,000 people? Do they recruit 1,000 people? They recruit only 100 people. They have time. They will say, over the next 10 months, let us recruit 10 people. I have time, but I cannot compromise. I want at this qualification. Fine. But those companies, if they have the same limits for everybody or same category for everybody, they cannot recruit thousands of people. The way you can recruit thousands of people is by investing some amount of mentorship, some amount of, I would say, you must provide. When I say you, the new employer must provide skill development that is complementary and continuous. Today the guy who I recruited may have only 75% of the skill set what my employee who left me yesterday. But I know this guy is doing one extra mile. I can make this guy to come up to speed within 4 weeks. I do mentorship. I have right programs. If the company is not willing to do this part, company doesn't scale. Point blank. But companies which do this, take all the biggies, they do this right royally with full spirit, they achieve this.